So, what are some of the things, Chief, citizens can do to remain safe throughout the pandemic, just from an educational point of view?
Yeah. Fantastic question. People just need to stay on top of the information. I know it changes so quickly. That's why it's so important to stay on top of the information. Get on the public health websites, see what's happening in your region, understand the precautions that are being discussed in your area. Wearing the mask, absolutely need to wear that mask to reduce that transmission of the virus. Hand washing, I mean, it sounds simple, but it is so incredibly important. That virus can stay alive on your hands and transfer if you don't wash your hands regularly. Using things like the hand sanitizer, maintaining the distance. These are all critically important. But I think it's really going to be interesting as we get into the holiday season next, to think about ways to stay safe. We see the numbers coming up. It's never been so important to keep on top of those precautions and find ways to celebrate together. I think the holiday season is going to be very, very different, but there are ways to celebrate, even though, limit your numbers of individuals coming into the home. Think about ways to do virtual visits. I know I've got a granddaughter that's out in Edmonton. She might think I'm the grandpa in the box, but at least I see her often on a video. And those types of things I think will be really important. Plan ahead, but stay safe through the holiday season.
Yeah, it won't be forever, but sometimes we seem to, as the mayor, I get caught up in conversations. A lot of people are concerned about what else is going on, what other regions are doing, and how do we protect our region. And it's a hard conversation because we really have to just take responsibility for what we can do. We make good decisions. We can't control what everybody else is doing in other areas. We can't prevent them from hopping in their car and driving somewhere. We just, I think the message really has to be, we need to just continue using that common sense, as you mentioned, and it's going to be a little bit of a different season, but there's no reason we can't enjoy the holidays.
It's absolutely true.
So, sounds
absolutely
good. So what other key messages from the paramedic team would keep our residents and visitors safe over the winter months? I mean, we know, this isn't going away anytime soon. We're hearing about a possible vaccine, into next summer, but I think realistically we're going to be deep in this probably for the first 6 months of the year at least. So what are some of the tips or some of the things you could sort of say to people from a mental health perspective to try to keep your head on straight? It's a tough go for a lot of people.
Oh, it sure is. It's really difficult. The things that we normally turn to, even we talk about the supports for paramedics, the things we normally we would do is, that exercise, get out to the gym. A lot of those things we can't do right now, so we have to make a change. So there's absolutely no reason though we can't get outdoors. We can get on a trail. We can physically distance while we're out there. And, there's nothing more healthy than fresh air, getting out there and taking advantage of those opportunities. Make sure you stay safe. I mean, this is, we're heading into the winter, those snow tires on, those are all important things. I think we should stress, that there's been a lot of inactivity over the last 8 months. And now all of a sudden we've got snow on our driveway. So, think about pacing yourself and getting ready for those types of things. Those snow shoveling days are coming up. So making sure you're prepared. It's going to be a different year this year in terms of having someone cleaning your driveway for you. So pre-plan all of that stuff. And of course, there's all your typical, winter safety messages. Check your car, make sure that things are full tank of gas, make sure your cell phone's charged when you travel. Travel kits, Google a travel kit, you'll find out very easily what things you can keep in your car to keep you safe in the winter.
So you're saying we might not all be in peak physical condition going into this winter.
I'm not.
I'm not either. I'll be the first to admit, because of the gyms, and you're right, because of the activity, is obviously a little bit low. So what are some of the things we should consider if 911 was called, just to make it easier for paramedics to do their job? If something happens this winter and somebody, as a last resort, we do have to call 911. What are a few things that residents could do just to keep our paramedics safe?
Yeah. We spoke a little bit earlier about, obviously there's things that are a bit different now because of COVID, keeping the distance to the paramedics as they arrive and those types of things. But, in general, the winter, when we arrive at someone's house, we like to see a clean driveway if we can, clean the walks, take a bit of time to throw some salt out. Paramedics are generally coming in probably with about 100 pounds of equipment, plus the stretcher. It's so anything that'll assist us to stay safely, get in your house, up the steps. Or even before we get inside, making sure lights are on so that we can find the residents, making sure your number on your house is clear and well lit. And then arriving in the home, if you can take a couple of minutes to make sure the clutter of shoes that I have at my front door are moved out of the way, because those are things that trip us up as we're coming in.
Yeah.
And there are things that people don't generally think about. Just a pet, keeping a pet in another room. We love dogs. Sometimes dogs don't love us taking somebody out of the house. So, those types of things make it easier for us. Having lists of medications available. Often there are programs in the communities where there are these vial of lifes in the fridge or fridge magnets that have information, medical information. Those things are all very, very helpful for us.
That's great advice. Thank you. So how many, just a couple of facts where a lot of people are curious about, how many paramedics do we have in the city of Kawartha Lakes?
So we have 44 full-time paramedics, and then we have the leadership team on top of that. We have roughly the same number of part-time paramedics. So obviously paramedics have their vacations and things like that. So we need to backfill. So we have a part-time complement as well. So we're running about 50% roughly of those are advanced care paramedics and 50% primary care paramedics.
Can you expand on the advanced care paramedic? What does that mean as far as half of our paramedics being advanced care paramedics? Is that pretty much put one in each ambulance as it's going around?
So we do our best to, we've gone to that 50% target for advanced care medics. So yes, we have one in each ambulance most of the time. Advanced care paramedics, if you think back to the days in nursing, we used to have RNAs and RNs. The RN had much more advanced scope of practice and education, and that's the same for advanced care paramedics. I mentioned a couple of times the terms clinician. These paramedics are truly clinicians. They bring an expanded scope of practice, including more drugs that they can do, more procedures, life-saving procedures. They literally are bringing most of the things you'll see in an emergency room into the home. And there's been a significant investment by this municipality in maintaining that level of care, and it's been very successful, and it brings a great service to the community.
And that goes a long way, I assume, in keeping our residents safe when they show up and they've got that advanced training.
Absolutely.
It can only help, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
I mean, in the old days, it was, they called it diesel therapy. They put you in the ambulance and put the pedal to the floor. These guys are bringing that level of care right into the living room, and it's saving lives.
No, that's awesome. So how many ambulances, final question, we'll let you off the hook. I appreciate you being here. How many ambulances at any one time are roaming around the city of Kawartha Lakes?
Right. So throughout the 6 stations that we would work out of through Kawartha Lakes, we were running in the daytime 6 or 7. We have an enhanced level Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 7 in the daytime and 5 at night. So there's a dynamic, I would call it, deployment strategy. So we move ambulances to where the most likely next occurrence is. So those are moving around the city at all times to make sure we're strategically located for where the next call might come in.
Yeah, that's great.